Alright. Hello everyone, let's get this started here. Setting up a couple things over here. I'm going to start out with the T95 here. I'm going to be, playing some tanks that are going to be changing. This is for the 9.17.1 test server here. So let's hop into a battle here in the T95. This tank, there's a few changes floating around now. Who knows if it's gonna stick or not. Hello, Rob. Already, nice to see you. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to test some things and really see, some pretty stark differences. Only because you'll see every single match right now. It's pretty much all German heavy tanks. And there's stuff like girls. That's pretty much the extent of what people are playing now. The T95 though, I played a couple matches in it so far, a little earlier. They buffed its top speed, which I put out 2 videos covering pretty much all the changes you're going to see in the test servers. Hello Jerry too, nice to see you. And basically they buffed the top speed on this to 20 kilometers an hour. It can reach that, after several seconds, but it's pretty much the speed of a mouse, essentially, previously. The mouse is a little bit more nimble, and we're really grasping at straws here because they're both slow, but it's a pretty stark difference compared to the old T95. I'm doing well, Robert. How are you doing? Hello, John. Nice to see you. But, by no means is this fast. But compared to the old T95, it's pretty quick. I haven't been able to test the T28 or the prototype, but looking at their buffs, the prototype's gonna feel like pretty much a standard tank destroyer now. It's not gonna be a slug. The T28 is gonna feel a little bit faster than the T95 here, but it's still gonna feel slow. But for comparison purposes, I was one of the match I was playing earlier in this on Sand River, I was able to get into the dunes in the bottom left corner of the map on this tank pretty early on from the northernmost team spawn spot, and it was actually pretty funny. People, they really didn't expect me out there. I was like, surprise. But anyway, while this isn't fast, just going off of how its speed used to be, right now I'd be right about here for comparison purposes, because, it wasn't a, significant boost when you compare it to other tanks, but it was large enough to where it's definitely going to change this tank if it stays, at 20 kilometers an hour. I'm just going to switch over to APCR. I probably should have done it earlier. A lot of people, which you're going to see with the new kind of overlay down here. Yep, heat round. Pretty much all you're going to get hit with on the test server is premium round after premium round, especially with people playing as many German heavy tanks right now as feasibly possible. It's pretty much what you're going to see hit you most of the time. So I'm just going to go with the flow. Hello Graham, nice to see you. But I'll pretty much be playing, mainly the tanks that are changing tonight. Really on the test server here. There's not a ton of people. So, which my, I bounced off of him there. I can't exactly play anything under tier 8, but most of the major changes are, at tier 9 and 10 anyway. I might as well just get another shot off here, but the mouse, my other videos I did earlier, I went over to armor changes, in pretty good detail. But the changes to the frickin' mouse, Type 4, Type 5 heavy, they're gonna be a pretty hard tough nut to crack. I guess shoot through that frontal wheel there since he's angled, but even with even premium rounds now, it's going to be pretty difficult to penetrate the Japanese heavies, the mouse. Take that. I'm definitely not going to survive here, but as you can kind of see, I wasn't getting nailed by too many prone rounds, but they did add this for the default kind of damage indicators down here. It's a pretty nice change. And also the directional indicators kind of show you what you're getting hit by as well. It's a little bit slower than the Yag Tiger, I think, but or you're talking about the Yag Tiger E100. That might be slower. Yeah, pretty much. I kind of did a informal, completely not under any strict guideline test against a mouse, running against one of my teammates, and the T95 just a pinch slower than the mouse. But it's definitely going to be slower going up some hills because its engine's significantly weaker. Should you buy the Panther? I wouldn't worry about crew skills. I would say get the Panther. You could also wait if you're in no hurry. It's getting a buff. A buff in this patch coming up here. It's getting a slightly better gun handling, I think, and I think it's getting side skirts with the HD model, and also a slight reduction to its reload. But I would say, you can move up to it. Crew skills, it's no big deal running without them, honestly. You really only notice it at tier 9 and 10 a lot. Now, my ping in the test server here, it's bad. Like, I get some lag spikes. For the Type 5, I'm using the new derp gun, even though, honestly, I think it's pretty bad. And honestly, they almost force you to use premium rounds, 1400 damage, compared to 1100 damage with the standard HE. You're kind of forced to use it because, if not, you're kind of gimping yourself by a fair amount. Now, the main problem I have with this gun is, for a high tier tank to have a derp gun like this, it needs a pretty decent reload, and this thing's reload, as you see, 17 seconds. Honestly, the standard gun on it is better. I can see where this thing has some perks over the standard gun, like you don't need to penetrate everything, but at the same time, I got a good hit there. A lot of the fights I was in, like against other heavy tanks and stuff, they say that you have the HE gun, you're popping them for like 400 damage. They just know that you have really crappy reload and DPM with it, so they just kind of roll up and kill you. Against mediums, it's nice, and lightly armored tanks shooting their sides, but for most foes that you're gonna find, you're better off with the standard gun, because you even can chuck HE out of that, and it's not as good as the HE chucker, but it definitely provides more upside having the standard rounds. The E50, I actually just bought it, honestly, on the test server here, because I might try to play it since it got a buff to its gun depression. That was a stupid shot. I put on vertical stabilizer, optics, and a gun rammer. Which I was actually a little bit surprised. I'll show the comparison tool that's in the garage. They did a pretty good job at updating that. Honestly, like comparing it to like say tanks.gg or what is it, Tank Inspector, blows it completely out of the water. Just because it is in game, everything's 100% accurate. There's no bugs or anything that's going to be displaying false information. Soon they're going to be, and by soon I mean the next like decade, coming out with, it looks like an armor inspector inside the client. It's in World of Warships now, and they're kind of testing it. Ooh, and I completely missed them. I have not shot enough HE rounds out of this to really get the shell velocity down pat. The armor buff for the the Type 4 and Type 5 though is pretty awesome. Like I was over angling a little bit and getting shot on the sides, from these guys, but you're gonna bounce quite a few rounds in this thing. Why didn't I take a shot there? That was stupid. I just kind of sat there and let him do that. And watch, I was just praising the armor, and now I'm gonna get frickin'... Nope, he did not pen me there. I'd say you'll be surprised, especially at longer range. You can bounce a fair amount, because they buffed a lot of the hull armor on the front, outside of even just the cheek area. Yay, I hit him. Only for 522 damage, though. Would have been better off using the other gun. But figure I'd, stick with the howitzer gun here, just because it's the new thing coming out with the patch. Oh, I hit the dead tank. Yeah. Hello, Richie. Nice to see you. Yeah, it's I don't really I don't play on elite tanks, so I could see where without the 10.5 centimeter gun on it, that you'd run it with different equipment. But like basically with the howitzer gun here, I think it would be nice for some people, but honestly, well, hell, any one of you guys watching me right now, you're better off with the standard gun. Like, I almost feel like the HE gun is good for bots. Unless if they buff the reload by a little bit, it will be fairly decent. Which, let me just add a few of these tanks here to the comparison, which something that they've added as well. You can kind of hover, let's see, you can hover over ammunition now, which, where the hell was it? Maybe it was, I forget where exactly, but it was showing penetration at range, which was pretty nice. Maybe it was, I honestly forget where it was now. But anyway, the comparison tool that they've kind of updated it a little bit. More or less, the configure gives you a lot more options here. You can choose different perks and see how they really affect your tank, and it's a pretty good feature that they added. So pretty much everything's at your disposal, even down to adding the camouflage. Let's get out of here. So I'm kind of that's why. I was over heat and HE shells, but for AP and APCR, it does tell you, the average penetration at range now. I don't think that's in or on the live server right now. So that's a different little thing coming. So why don't I hop into, the new PZ 7 here. I think that's the easiest way for me to call it for now. Richie, right now I'm on the test server. I'm just going to be playing. There's only 2,800 people on this one. Pretty much I'm just going to be playing the tanks changing, primarily, tier 9, tier 10, maybe a tier 8, but I'd have to research quite a few tanks to get to the 251, but maybe if I get through a lot of the tanks here that have changed. Hello, Mojo. But on my live account, I am up to the SP1C on that. Which this tank here, compared to the VK7201K, it does not have the 750 damage gun. It's at 560. Penetration's fairly good, and it has a pretty decent premium round. But they differentiate it a little bit, and both tanks got a decent buff to their hull armor. So again, more armor. Pretty much it seems like they, honestly, seeing the patch notes, because they're not going to roll back every single change that they're doing. They're adding even more armor onto heavy tanks for the most part. And, introducing tanks, like the Type 5 with premium rounds with more damage. At least it's not like more penetration. But it looks like they're probably not going to change premium rounds now, honestly, because it doesn't make sense for them to do this patch and buff, say, like the mouse's armor, when premium rounds might be going away. It doesn't make sense for them to do this just to roll it back in a patch or two. It's all right. I didn't want to go around that corner at all, especially with my ping. Cool. He does not. He's probably using food, and he's gonna burn and die. I have not been TK yet either. I am honestly surprised because typically it's like every goddamn freaking match. Hello, person from YT from Brazil. I don't speak Portuguese, I believe. Come on, you can fix the track. I would like to get a shot. And of course, just as I poke up here, he pulls back and doesn't show his side. Yeah, awesome. But the mouse got, a pretty significant buff to its armor. Turret front 20 plus or 20 millimeters added to it. The little transition between the upper frontal glacis and the side armor got buffed significantly, thickness wise. And the sides, essentially the lower plates on the side, got a pretty decent buff to them as well. I'm trying not to look stupid. If this was the live account, I'd push forward a little bit more here. But playing on the test server here, hence why I don't play on the EU server. Granted, this is more towards the Russian server, typically, test servers. Reason I don't play over there, lag and ping definitely comes into play here. Come on. But even chucking APCR at Type 5 heavies now, heat rounds, you have a decent shot at freaking bouncing them, honestly. You are going to need to flank these tanks now a lot more than you used to. Okay, screw this. I'm probably... Whoops. Sorry, dude. I'm probably going to regret this since I'm lagging a lot. I didn't kill him, but he was doing the smart thing and kind of pulling back there. So I was just going to flank him on the side. Which, that hurt a bit. Don't do that. I'm still going to kill you, but yeah. Oh, but yeah, it's kind of hard to test some things. Like, I'm throwing all APCR. You're getting hit by all premium rounds on the test server too, especially with the amount of German heavy tanks. Huh. That seems like a very fun match there. Well, at least you won, Mojo. Which, thank you for the subscription, YT. Which, one thing I kind of touched on my video earlier is the changes to the mouse. As you can see here, they buffed the gun. Not sure if, essentially, which, as you see, there's more information here. I really like the amount of information they're adding now to the UI. The average damage per minute right now is just under 3,000 for the mouse, which, let's see, it's scrolled to another tank. I believe the IS-7 has comparable alpha. It's got more damage per minute than the IS-7 there. And they have, the same average damage, which, I get why they buffed the mouse's armor a little bit, but, doing both the damage plus doing the armor, the mouse honestly is going to be a pretty damn good tank. Like comparing them to between the IS-7 and the mouse now, the DPM difference, mouse has more DPM, more armor, has more hit points by a fairly considerable amount. Like, you have 3k on the mouse and only 2150 on the IS-7. Yes, the IS-7 does have more mobility, and before you could argue that the IS-7's armor was a little bit more reliable if there was no shot in the lower plate. But now that the mouse has essentially people shooting underneath here at it was 80 millimeters, now it's like 120 maybe, something like that. um, Honestly, I think they almost over buffed the mouse a little bit. Like, I hate to complain about them over buffing something, but it's going to be interesting because the mouse, the only thing it's going to have against it now is its size and speed. The gun, as far as the accuracy and penetration, they boosted the DPM enough to where it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of a little bit unbalanced, I feel like, right now, but that could just be me nitpicking. So now I'm hopping into the VK4502B here. It's going to be hard to test out the armor here, but they did change this tank a little bit. Gun handling got boosted. As far as accuracy on the move, I think a little bit of reload, but they nerfed the lower plate here, took away this weak spot, and they buffed the side armor by 20 millimeters. Essentially, your lower plate's still going to protect you from most tier 9 and under tanks if they're not firing premium. Tier 8 premium and lower will still bounce most of the time, but it's a little bit weaker to where tier 10s can penetrate you about, I would say, 50-60% of the time with a standard round. But buffing the side armor helps a bit because you're able to angle a little bit more, so you're still essentially keeping the same effective armor in a way, more or less. Yeah, essentially, I saw that too, Mojo. Some people were bringing that up. It just looks like it wasn't included. I don't think they're going to take that out. It's just sometimes with test servers, that honestly they mess up sometimes. That's why they always do 2 iterations. They should add that back in for the next phase. Ooh, I'm wondering if this is a good idea for me to head down here or not. But if you're worried about the VK4502B, okay, RT92 TK'd. Yeah, he TK'd that guy. Awesome. That's fantastic, dude. It's like I always find it funny when they like TK US players and stuff like that, because you do get bans on your live account for doing team damage on the test server, and I'm fairly sure most people know that, and yet they still do it. This doesn't seem too smart in my opinion. Alright, so they have pushed the hill. Interesting. Honestly, at this point, I kind of wish I had went with my team here, only because kind of out here by myself. This is a little bit a little scary. Okay, we're definitely gonna lose the hill over that way. Let's say the grill's gonna spot me a little bit sooner than the mouse. I was just making sure the mouse wasn't gonna spot me significantly sooner than the grill here. Which the grill changes. People are really worried about them messing with that tank, but they're honestly not that significant in my eyes. It is a slight nerf. Thank you for doing that. But yeah, while it will impact a little bit of performance, it's not going to be, like a death sentence that some people are making it out to be. Why did I even try that? Let's say he's not even angling with me in mind, but that was a pretty tough shot for this, even with APCR, for the angle that he was presenting me. Yeah, and he's still alive. Honestly, like, I'm gonna I kind of said on the forums earlier, like, I'm gonna like cry once essentially a couple days before the test server ends and the patch comes out, I'm going to be updating a lot of my guides now, because there's a lot of armor changes, a lot of different changes to pretty much mainly Germans, but any German from like tier 6 to 10 changes. I'm going to be changing a lot of things, and what really stands out is the mouse weak spot guide. But it's just the armor on this thing. The next patch, do not aim low on the mouse's side. It's a lot stronger than the portion right underneath the turret. Yeah, wargaming, finally it looks like every patch now they're starting to give people more, customization and different little changes that they can do, like mods. I didn't think you could hit me, but oh well. Honestly, it's very difficult playing, well, with the lag here, but basically everyone playing essentially the same tanks. Now, let me... Okay, I was about to say that the order's different here. I'll hop into the T110E5 here. But if there's any tanks you'd like to see that are, kind of changing and stuff for the next patch here, feel free to let me know, as I will hop into them sooner and later. Like, I planned on streaming for maybe a little over an hour here, maybe an hour and a half, something like that. I just wanted to, do a stream for the test server here. That way tomorrow I don't have to, kind of hop in between test and, the actual live account there. Yeah, the grow line's not bad, John. Even with the changes, the tier 9 is getting buffed as far as its 15 centimeter gun. Not that everyone uses that. But, the slight little nerfs that the grow's getting it's definitely, I thought that they were going to go a little bit harder on it, but yeah, more or less it's not that big of a change. The E5 here, the changes the E5 is going to get is, we'll see if anyone shoots at the cupola here, but the E5 cupola changers, I kind of touched on the other video I made earlier, but more or less, a lot of looking at armor inspectors outside of the game, kind of looking towards the outside edges here, it does get thinner, but you have to keep in mind most armor like tanks.gg and stuff, they only display what Wargaming's essentially armor values are for vertical angles. They don't take into account any horizontal angles. That's calculated when a shell hits the armor piece, and essentially the effective armor against the whole cupola, or amongst the whole cupola, is about 240 at its lowest point, and it will go a little bit up, but there is a small little strip where that thicker armor does drop down considerably. That'll be a little bit weaker, I think around, I still have to do numbers and stuff, like I have to basically manually measure horizontal angles. Thanks, dude. Awesome. You're so wonderful. But it should still be pretty strong. It just won't be like trolling the hell out of tier 10 shots. I don't think the E5 changes that big. It's just to the cupola, and also essentially the side piece right near its frontal track wheel. It's I honestly don't think it's that drastic of a change. It is a nerf, but honestly it's not it's not as bad as they could have done, to say the least. Why did I shoot a heat shell at IS-7? It's still gonna provide it protection against tier 8 shots. It's gonna provide it protection against most tier 7 shots shot at it. Just not going to be immune, against tier 10s anymore, which it needs kind of a viable weak spot. See you, Graham. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. But honestly, this patch, even though a couple tanks are kind of getting nerfed in a way, the nerfs are very minor. This is more or less just a patch, you know, rebalancing some things, and more or less buffs the or not patches, tanks. Whenever I freaking get a little like lag, little hiccup, and it stutters here, it messes me up like mid-sentence. Like, ah! It's like, you know, outside of the cupola, the little change to the track, that does affect it a little bit when it comes to, you know, essentially this, you know, if you're presenting a view where they can have a small little shot on your front track wheel, people will be able to penetrate that now, since it's dropping from about 240 something millimeters down to 76. So that, it is a big change. But the E5, currently its armor is a little bit too strong for how the tank should be playing. So it's like, it's definitely, honestly, leaps and bounds is better than the pre-HD model of the E5. So it's not like they nerfed it back down to those levels. Shit. I'm probably going to regret doing this, especially because I'm lagging. Oh, awesome. I didn't think that grill could hit me, and he could. I got a Foch 155, a T57 shooting me, AMX 50 or 30B behind me. So I'm just going to do one more shot on that Foch before I die. Or Foch. But more or less, like the E5, it's pretty much going to play the same way, except for you're not feeling like you're God mode with everybody bouncing off of, you know, your cupola. Which I can hop in Carnage. I can do the one WZ11114. It's not changing in the patch, but you know, it's a tier 9. I'll hop into it for you. Hello, Tyweb. Are you talking about you're that little one on my contact list on the test server here? I didn't look to see who it was. But yeah, the track wheel, it's a huge drop. But honestly, the amount of times you get shot there, it's not going to be that big of a change. And if you were getting shot there a lot, honestly, you know, they fixed it for a reason. Like the E5, it should just be frontal armor. The sides and rear are weak. It's, you know, not to say it's not a true heavy tank, but to me, the E5 should be kind of a heavy medium in a way, which is why I kind of hated them removing the T30 from the heavy tank line, because that would have been a nice complement to the E5 if they had basically two different lines. Hello, Rich. Nice to see you. Hopefully you're having a good day. But after this, maybe I'll hop into one of the mouse prototypes. Something like that. I could play the E50. I could play the grill, but yeah, I'd have to buy that. Yeah, I'm playing the test server. I figured I had a little bit of time tonight, so might as well hop on it tonight, because tomorrow I want to, just play on the live server here. I did come out with essentially 2 videos earlier going into like fine details about the changes. Also had Anthony watches the stream a lot here. I did a viewer replay of one of his matches with a Kolobanov's medal. Yeah, I can get to that up next, Bob. Yeah, I'll try the Malshin first, since that's a tier 9. Tier 8 might be a little difficult. I'm sure I can find a match with it. But honestly, the tier 8's armor is pretty poor, to say the least, if I'm facing a bunch of 9 and 10 throwing gold. It's like the armor, I think they're going to have to buff, you know, the VK 101P, I think it is. I think they're gonna have to buff its mobility or its gun or HP or something, because honestly, they can't buff its armor anymore because it faces off against tier 6s, tier 6s and 7s. They just can't, which awesome. Wonderful. That's what I was afraid of. Like, honestly, playing on the test server here, it's interesting, you know, the differences. Everyone just pushes out and kills each other. They're not camping. They don't give a shit. They actually work together, though. I kind of love it, but sometimes I kind of forget, you know, it does play differently than the NA server. But unfortunately, I let myself get shot by 3 tier 10s all at once. No way I'm going to survive that. So let's hop into the Malshin here and see how this goes. Hello, Sam B. Nice to see you. Yeah, I can get back to the Panzer 7 tie web. I did try, you know, both of those with the howitzer SWAT. Honestly, shit, not enough. Thought I had enough shells. I guess I need to do something differently. Which I guess I didn't load shells in this, though. Maybe. Thank you for letting me know that. I was a little confused there. I'm like, why is it telling me I can't play? Honestly, though, for both of those tanks, specifically the Type 5, honestly, I don't like the howitzer guns. More or less, you know, the standard guns, you know, even on both of them, they're more reliable. You're going to do more damage with them. You still can chuck HE rounds at them for some effect. It's not as good as, you know, the pure HE rounds on the new guns, but, you know, if you're facing anything with armor, the more, you know, the standard gun on Type 4 and 5 are still going to be leaps and bounds better. Just because your DPM sucks if you do like 300-400 damage against a heavy with them. Hello, Abdul. Nice to see you. But yeah, the Panzer 7's a, you know, it's good. You know, it's essentially just a VK 72 or 7201K. Different gun on it, lower alpha, but, you know, more consistent as far as, you know, better reload and stuff like that. And both tanks actually got better armor, so it's gonna be a not a new schedule, Abdul. This was just, it wasn't scheduled or anything. I just had some time here, so I'm popping on because you know, the test server came out today. But honestly, what I feel like they're gonna do, because there is, you know, there's usually at least 2 iterations of the test server. I have a feeling, you know, the Japanese Ichi howitzer guns, they're gonna be getting a slight buff before they're released. If not, honestly, I wouldn't use them. I'm going to take a slightly longer approach here. Now the Malshin here, you know, at tier 5, I kind of like to say that its armor is like the current mouse in a way, slightly toned down a bit in a couple spots, specifically on the side hull and rear. But it's pretty comparable to what we have with the mouse now, and as far as, you know, sitting at tier 9. So the armor is very solid. HP is good, you know, mobility, nothing, you know, surprising there. It's slow. The gun's pretty good, the top gun on it, and, you know, the turret armor is decent, but again, sides and rear are definitely worse than the current mouse as far as balance for its tier. Oh, what are you doing to me, tank? You're supposed to go right left there, and oh well. But, and then the current mouse, of course, is getting buffed in 9.17.1 most likely, unless they roll them back. We'll see. I honestly think they're gonna roll the gun changes back slightly. It's like I was pointing out a little earlier, mouse currently has a pretty huge leg up on, you know, say the likes of the IS-7 as far as DPM, and, you know, the only thing it can get beat by is as far as IS-7 smaller and more speed. So if they don't roll back a few changes, essentially they're just going to keep patch after patch buffing tanks, and they're just going to, it's a never-ending cycle in a way. You're lucky. It is a nice buff, you know, for the mouse, but you know, just thinking game balance wise, it's not good for the game to give it that much of a gun buff and armor. I think it either has to be either or both need to be toned back a little bit. It's just it's a little bit too good. But I'm still gonna be streaming tomorrow. You know, same time, guys. I guess, you know, figure pop on for, you know, a little bit here just to show some of the changes off. Thank you. I really wish our Artie would hit you, but our Artie is not being very helpful here. Can I pull? Nope. I say, it's a very stark difference going from the NA server to the test server as far as how things play out here. We saw already got a shot there. There's that speed demon now in a T95. This doesn't seem like a very good idea. I think it's a good idea. Hello, Martin. Nice to see you. That's pretty early. Yeah. Yeah, the T95 speed buffs, honestly, I thought they were going to go somewhere like 18 kilometers an hour, maybe somewhere around there, but 20... Alright, dude. You're being a little bit too safe here. There's one tank there, as far as what's immediately in front of us. Oh, Lord. Which, I guess, bounced off the mountain's cupola. A lot of people say this is a weak spot. It's actually about the same effective armor, if not stronger, if you hit the edges of it, than the entire turret front, more or less. Outside of the mantlet, of course. But, you know, it's really, it's not going to be a weak spot. Like a major weak spot, as far as the rest of the armor close to it is concerned. But I'm gonna have my hands full with weak spot guide changes, you know, updates the, you know, update the old tanks. Okay, updates to new tanks here. Oh, I'm gonna be a busy person here for the next couple weeks. I'm gonna be getting start on them tomorrow, most likely. John, you know, I've popped into Dreadnought. I haven't streamed it lately, of course, or made videos, but, you know, currently nothing's really changed in the game. You know, the reason I haven't streamed it, they're still having server problems. It looks like they're going to have it fixed in the next, I think, about a week or something. I was reading something on their forums. But currently the servers, you know, it's still in closed beta, and yeah, sometimes they just randomly kick you off. You gotta log back in. Sometimes, you know, even logging back in could be a little difficult. So it's just one of those things where I'd like to stream it, but, you know, with the amount of updates, the guides I have to do now, and those issues, I've kind of held off on it a little bit. But I'm still pretty excited for the game. Yeah, why not? Awesome. Thanks, T49. You're probably sitting right in that goddamn little bush there. Do-do-do-do-do. Awesome. I wasn't even spotted, and he missed that. Yeah, should have saw that coming. Okay, so I'll play the the PZ here again. Luckily, though, I don't really care about the test server. It's kind of nice playing the game sometimes without having to worry about, um, playing well or anything. I still won't go as far as some people who like start TKing everyone and stuff. No. Like, they have gotten a little bit better, I will say. Essentially, it started like a day or two after when I first streamed it. The servers were going down like 4 or 5 times a day, and they'd be down for like at least 30 minutes after they took them offline. They did get that fixed. They're not down as much as that, but we'll see. They are, they're starting to talk about, essentially the next little update they're doing for the game. So hopefully that'll bring some fixes, and then I'll give, another shot as far as making videos for it. But hello, Paradex. Nice to see you. It's been quite some time. Whoops, I screwed up that. But yeah, I would say, as far as me doing other streams right now, for different games, might have to wait, at least a week or two. Awesome. I'm making so many stupid little mistakes here. Kind of mad at myself now, because, yeah. Maybe I should start worrying a little bit more about what I'm doing here. But yeah, with the amount of changes I have to do on WoT Guru for all the little armor changes and the new the 3 new German heavies, I want to get weak spot guides up for them out. Yeah, because essentially each one of those guides take me about at least minimum 2 hours for me to do, if not a little bit longer. And that's basically just creating the guide itself in Photoshop, since I go the extra mile and calculate all the horizontal compound angles, stuff like that, and gotta draw everything by hand. Kind of hate myself for coming up with my weak spot guides sometimes, as far as how detailed they are. There's a reason why nobody else does them. Yeah, it's nice to see you too. Hopefully all is well. Alright, this little bugger, it's weak spot. Essentially, this little rounded area underneath the turret's your weakest point if they're angled slightly. Even pointing frontally. You do have the lower plate, but yeah, I don't have a shot at that right now. And of course, a lot of these tanks, I don't have any repair skills or anything on them. So a lot of times I'm just kind of dead in the water. Here we go. Now our Type 5 Heavy is on fire. But after this, I'll see what tank I want to play after this. I'll try to hop into something different. Maybe the Tier 8 mouse prototype, the VK. Maybe I'll try the E50. There we go. Yes, I'm a filthy gold spammer. But just look what's firing at me. All APCR as well. It's one of the downsides of the test server. They give everyone, they give enough people credit so they can test stuff, and it kind of has a pretty bad effect. Kind of wish they would do what the sandbox server does. They give people, well, they don't give people credits over there. Everything's unlocked for you, but they only give you a certain amount of gold to use, and if you use premium rounds, you're only going to be able to get a couple for each match. Okay, we're not out of this. Holy shit, we just lost Hey. That's awesome. I guess I will head this way. I'm not sure where I want to go now, but I know I don't want to. I know I don't want to camp. That's not good. I know I don't want to camp. You know, it's the test server. I'm not gonna sit for like 5 minutes staring at nothing. Just try to get a little bit better chance to win. But I think a lot of people are going to like this tank. Even without the 750 damage gun, I honestly don't think it really needs it. It plays pretty well without it. I would still say though that, you know, probably, you know, I would say it's pretty comparable with the E100. In the current state though, the mouse is definitely the better of the three, I feel like. But you know, the E100 and this tank feel pretty, they complement each other. And I kind of like that they went with the lower alpha gun on this, since, you know, it does provide something different rather than just being a rear mounted E100 essentially, in a way. Let's hop out of here though. Let's see. We did win the mouse and match, but maybe I'll try this fellow, but it's going to be interesting depending on what tier I get. Honestly, this tank, it's kind of going to be all of the matchmaking depending on how you do in this tank in its current state. On the live server, say you're top tier 8, stuff like that, you're going to feel pretty damn good facing off against tier 6s and 7s in this thing. You know, there are some spots that they could still pen you, but the problem this tank's going to have, which most likely I'm going to get thrown into a match with a lot of 9s in it at least, it's not going to perform very well against specifically tier 10s, but tier 9s in a way. Just because it's a very large size, kind of like the Oho in a way. You know, it's very large. Its armor doesn't basically scale up against higher tiers, so it's definitely going to be interesting. I got top tier, surprisingly. Let's say earlier, granted that just might have been, I popped on once the test server came up. It was all tier 10 matches. You couldn't get any other matches. But one thing with the VK here, you know, the frontal armor is decent, but it does have a very weak lower glacis. Cupola is very weak, fairly weak, but it's surprisingly strong though. Like the main weak spot's just going to be that lower plate against, say, tier 6, tier 7. But more or less, the weak main weak spot's going to be in the rear. I can hop into it again, Carnage. I did play it once before though, which thanks for the subscription. Don't know what your name is, but thank you nonetheless. That's pretty interesting. Yeah. But you know, this tank, you know, a lot of people complain about its armor and stuff, but more or less they just can't give it too much because the difference in essentially power between tier 6, 7, and then jumping to 8, pretty damn significant. So essentially the armor on this, I don't think it's going to get any better than it currently is. Nor do they usually change the armor too much in, you know, test servers. But I feel like you know, this tank will get maybe a slight change to its gun before it's released. But I do think, it's a pretty decent tank. It's competitive. It's just against higher tiers, it is gonna struggle a little bit. In this match, however, it's gonna be pretty decent. Which that guy just whacked me. Where did he hit me? Trying to figure. He hit me right in the essentially the turret ring there. Yes, Sean. Essentially the T-44-100. It has a little bit worse armor than the standard T-44 upgraded. But what essentially it's the same as the Elite one, outside of having a slightly weaker turret front, I believe. I don't know why you're pushing up IS-6. We're better to pull them back into us. Especially because I can kind of hide behind this little bump here. Hopefully. Granted, they're not pushing in. Which probably my favorite change of this patch is the Panther 2 getting the E50's 8.8 centimeter gun. That is going to be awesome. It loses DPM getting it, but you gain accuracy, you gain much needed penetration. It's going to be a welcome change to that tank. Well, yeah, this tank will be... It's going to be, honestly, one of the scarier tanks. Much like facing an OHO in, say, like a tier 6 or a 7. It's going to be one of the scarier tanks for, lower tiers to see. It's just... It's definitely going to be interesting playing it against higher tiers. But... That's almost a problem. I don't... Like I'm saying, like, they might change the gun a little bit and stuff. But honestly, I still don't know how they would change it and make it fair for... lower tier tanks to play against it, honestly. Trying to turn around here. Granted, you could always cap them out or run away. There's always that option. Alright, I'm going to have to contend. We have a lot of low HP tanks here. I have a 15-second reload, though. So, it'd be nice if our ISU did something. Doesn't look like they're playing. Maybe they are. I never doubted you. Oh, God. It's down to us two. IS-6, save me. Oop. Shit, I was trying to frickin' bounce him. I cannot let him get around. Honestly, though, weakness found, especially with Artie here. Holy shitballs. No, LTTB, leave me alone. I would like to kill this one little Indian Panzer here. Nah. Oh well. But, yeah, I feel like this tank, it's not going to be kind of as bad as I might have said, but it's definitely going to be heavily matchmaking dependent with how well this tank performs. So, it's just something to keep in mind. But luckily, if you have the mouse unlocked already, you won't need to push through it. So I'll hop back into the WZ-111-14 here, since that's requested again. After that, I'll play... Maybe I'll hop into the T95 again for the speed changes. I could do the E50. Granted, really the E50 change just brings it to the same gun depression as the E50M. Trying to think of other changes here. Like, there's the grill change, but... Well, I don't own it right now, but honestly, that change isn't that big. Maybe I'll hop into like a Type 5 or a Type 4 Heavy, though. But not going to go, for too long here. I do have to wake up pretty early tomorrow, but where do I want to go here? I'm almost afraid to go into the center here. Just looking at the amount of mediums they have and with how my matches have gone so far, but I might try it here. Yeah, hopefully my team comes with me. Alright, thank you, John. Yeah, I'll do the Type 4 after this. Maybe I haven't compared the two guns, honestly, for that tank against each other. I'll compare them too before I hop into a match. So I'm kind of curious. Yeah, tomorrow I plan on getting up fairly early because I gotta start chipping away at some of these articles I need to do, honestly. I'm honestly surprised that both teams did not come here. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Bob, yeah, you don't have to worry about that. If you have the mouse unlocked, you get both of them unlocked. All the modules are unlocked except for the upgraded tracks and also the upgraded engines because they're unique to those tanks. Hello, Harry. I don't have the link for it, but you just go to worldoftanks.com, you know, unless you're on like the EU or something server, you just go to their webpage. Excuse me. And it should be like the first or second article link there. But I don't have a link on hand here. That was bad. I just shot a building. I'm gonna blame it on the ping, but yeah, I'm kind of glad I'm not playing on my account right now because I haven't exactly played very well here. Just keeping an eye on this IS-7 back here, but doesn't help that all of our people ran that way. Yeah. I forget what I was doing earlier. I kind of had something like that. Lucky little IS-7. That shell just looked like it went on purpose. Not that I was fully aimed in there, but yeah. Help! And of course, my team isn't even... I'm gonna track him, but I'm pretty much dead here. It's like these guys aren't even in a position to hit him. They were for a little bit, and then they... Ah, awesome. Like I said, they buffed the armor for that and the VK7201K. Honestly, the armor changes, as you can see. Like I just penetrated him there. It still leads me to believe that they are not going to they're not going to nerf premium rounds. I guess hit his gun. Lucky bastard. That was my fault though, but yeah. Again, all gold rounds thrown at me, even though this thing doesn't have armor. I was kind of doing the same thing, but you guys gotta hate the test server sometimes for that. But what was I saying? Yeah, as far as the armor changes go, though, it kind of sucks because they're adding a lot more armor into the game, especially at high tiers, and yeah, it's kind of. I'm honestly, at this point, I don't think they're gonna end up changing premium ammo. I think they're just stringing people along. But yeah, like looking at the new gun here, you do have more DPM, 1,000, which is a pretty significant amount. But let's see. I'm actually curious about the Type 5, the difference on that too. For the DPM. And for the Type 5, as far as DPM goes on there, you know, both of the new howitzers do have better DPM than their counterparts by a pretty significant amount, but at least from what I've seen so far, the standard guns seem to be the way to go, but you know, I haven't exactly pulled off that many matches in either tank, so whoops, I forgot to... Honestly, premium rounds, I'm a little bit, talking about them again, I'm a little bit disappointed in Wargaming because, you know, the reason why, you know, they're probably not going to change because it's money, but looking at the two different shells here, it'll be easier if I guess click on the gun here. You know, they're adding a premium shell that's in all ways better than the standard one. You know, there's no more burst. There's not a larger burst radius between the two, but the average damage is pretty much a significant change. Like, honestly, I think they should just... Yeah, Carnage, like I said, essentially the PZ7 and even the VK7201K, they buffed the whole armor pretty drastically. Let me pull up the model for it here if I can get it in time. Hopefully I can get it soon enough. Where is it? Let's just go with this one here. Let's see. Going with what's on there now. Yeah, the lower plate on the VK and the PZ7 now ranges from 300 millimeters in the center flat part, millimeters of effective armor, down to 263, and then up to 330 millimeters on the bottom, most part of the lower glacis. So if you put a little bit of angle on it, honestly, that 260, you could easily get it to, granted your side armor is going to be exposed, you can get it to, I would say without, you know, completely over angling, you'll get it to at least 300 millimeters effective armor on the weakest spot of the lower plate, and the upper plate's even stronger. You got the turret front, but it does have that weak side armor kind of configuration. So, but they did buff those tanks. Oh, yeah. But yeah, honestly, for the howitzer guns here, I hate that they added, you know, the premium one. Like, I guess it's good for business because people are going to be spending more money. But balance-wise and kind of fairness-wise, I feel like for the premium HE shell, because there is no heat shell for these guns, they should have just went with adding a little bit of shell velocity. I know it's not exactly historical, but whatever. Add shell velocity and add, you know, it's 3.66 meters, I believe, for the burst radius for the HE shells. More or less buff that up to, you know, maybe 5, 6, something like that. And I feel like that would have been a good enough incentive to get people to use the premium one some of the times, but not make it just an outright better shell for every single scenario than the standard HE. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. It's a little bit annoying. They should have just renamed the test server to like Heavy Tank freaking Mayhem here, because that's literally all that you find getting played. Where did he pen me? I honestly didn't see, but you know, the armor changes on the Type 4 and Type 5 are pretty damn great. You know, it is a little bit hard to get a good look at them here on the test server because of the premium rounds, but they're pretty good changes. It's like that was just an AP round which got buffed. He just hit me on that upper little section there, the cupola, because the E100, you know, whatever uses the 15 centimeter, like even the tier 9 PZ3 Waffle Traeger TD, that got a buff to its 15 centimeter AP round as well. Penetration wise, it went from 235 to like 246, something like that, I believe. There's a pretty decent hit there. Now, in this scenario, I will say the HE gun is better than the standard gun, what I would have been able to get off here. We are very heavily concentrated here, to say the least. Come on, Artie, save us. Ooh, I do not trust my ping enough to get some shells off in between that. Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna turn around. By the time I get up there, they're either gonna have one. Shit, this. There's this bat chat out here. But overall, I do feel like this patch is, you know, it's basically not one step forward, two steps back, but two steps forward, one step back. So, yeah, they've got some things right, but, you know, a couple little quirks. We'll see what the second iteration of the patch does, or not the patch, but the test server does. But we'll see what exactly is gonna change here. Oh, Lord. That was bad. Stop shooting my cupola. No. Yeah, that worked. I'm surprised. Pretty much already bait right now, but what am I going to do about it? Nothing. Oh, God. Ooh, awesome. He's probably just gonna HE me now. Yeah, he's got the HE gun on that. My only hope here is to back into cover, but yeah. That ain't gonna work so well. Okay. Let's see. What haven't exactly I played much. I don't think, did I play the mouse? Maybe I did. I know I played the PZ7 and you know, tier 9 and tier 8 ones, but I don't, maybe I played it, maybe I not. But I'll do this, and then why don't I hop into the T95, and that might be it for the stream. Trying to think if there's any other glaring tanks I should hop into. Like, there's the Centurion, the tier 8 and tier 9 ones, they got buffs, but they're not that significant. But you know, it's definitely going to be an interesting patch, and you know, even if you don't want to test things out for, you know, the changes here, you know, it's still a decent thing to pop on for the test server. You get a ton of free experience and credits to use, and a little bit of gold. You can test out some premium tanks, test out some tank lines that you're grinding or you think you might like to grind. That way you can kind of plan out you know, the way that you're going to be grinding on your actual account. Hello, Echo Baby, nice to see you. Yeah, I always, you know, always suggest hopping on here if you have a little bit of time to spare. You know, for some newer accounts, sometimes your account isn't ported over. Typically, they take like a little snapshot of each server. I think it's a couple weeks before, you know, the actual test server comes out. So it's not, you know, if you created your account like yesterday, that you're gonna have a test account. I'm a little bit surprised I got spotted that early, but it's not like we had anybody up there to keep that IS-7 back. It's just I'm so used to pushing out here on the NA server, because people usually play pretty passive. I might take a pretty big ass shot here that I don't want to take, but I gave it a shot there. Oh Lord. Let's say hitting this bat chat here is, oh my god, I'm bad. It's gonna be a struggle if he had kept moving. Thank you, 50B. Let's go with the patented cap them out method here. Since we're down a fairly decent margin as far as tanks go. I don't think we're going to be able to cap them out though. Someone will hop on the cap beforehand. We'll see though. Stranger things have definitely happened. Don't do it, 50B. Oh, he's gonna get reset. Maybe not. But shit. I think I have pretty much all the cap points. I got 50 of them. But I might as well try to play to win this match at the very least. Why the hell not? Thanks for the subscription, Jaden. Alright, come on. End please. But I'll probably do one more match here, like I said, in the T95. Yeah, I wasn't gonna stream as long as my other streams that typically last 3 hours. Just because tomorrow night I'll be on from 8 to 11 o'clock, which, looking at the E5 compared to the E3 mobility-wise, you know, the E3 still inches it out by a little bit, but you have 20 kilometers now on the T95, 28, this thing's a speed demon, the T28, and then 22 on the actual T28. But pretty nice changes there, a little bit more than I thought they were going to do, but yeah, they're definitely a good thing for the game. You know, it's a little bit weird seeing, T95s move around that quickly, but it's going to be something that they're still slow enough to where, you know, it's not exactly game breaking. It can be a little hilarious at times getting to spots where, you know, previously you couldn't in a T95, but, you know, it's definitely not like they're moving like 35 whatever kilometers an hour like a heavy tank. So but like I said, this is probably my last battle. If it ends quickly though, I'll hop into one more. You know, if you want to see other more specific stuff on the test server, feel free to check out my recent uploads. I do have 2 videos specific to the test server here. Goes over pretty much all the important changes that you're going to find. I don't go into all the specifics on some of the mid-tier German tank changes, because honestly there's so many of them. Specifically like gun handling, penetration here or there, some mobility. But yeah, I basically go over the important things, and also uploaded a pretty nice video today. You know, a viewer replay. Feel free to check that out too. Alright. Which, kind of sure that most of you guys probably have watched it already anyway. I even ended up watching it myself after I uploaded, just double check that I didn't screw too much stuff up for all those videos. So honestly, I was actually going to stream either regular World of Tanks tonight or possibly Overwatch. And then earlier today, when I was doing the one viewer replay, um, the public test server news article popped up. I'm like, crap, there goes my night. I'd say I'm just gonna track him because they should, even though he's not on the bridge yet. So I'd say they should be able to damage him. I'm just gonna keep my. Yeah, he is going. I will just track you again, and you're gonna get shot. Bye. Well, that was easy. I should be able to. I am cheating a little bit here, but I did hit him on the mantlet, of course. I was about to say, I'm fairly sure that my APCR round, even my AP to some extent, can go through his turret front. Here we go. Which, with the changes, seeing what type of shell hits you now, you're going to be able to complain so much more about when people fire just pure premium at you. Keeping an eye on my driving because I don't want to. Come on, dude. I really don't want to ram you because I can push you off the bridge. Phew, that went under him. Ah, shit, he died. I was about to say, I'm content with pushing it a little too far here. But I'm not content with him flanking me now. But luckily, the T95 here is a little bit quicker. See, it's not going to be as easy to flank this thing anymore. I'm a little bit surprised that they lost in those other areas. Just waiting for the. I guess it can't be called like the Doom Turtle anymore. It's like the Speed Turtle or something. Yeah, it stopped. I was about to say he should have passed here by now. Surprisingly, I've played a lot of matches in this, not recently, but I did grind through the T95, and the freaking changes for its speed. Where was this tank when I was excuse my language, grinding through this thing like 3 or 4 years ago? Because this was my first, at that point, this was the top tier, my first top tier tank destroyer. But yeah, for anyone who's played it, like, we deserve like some compensation or like a medal or something. Like, I survived the freaking, 13-kilometer-an-hour T95. God damn it, are you kidding me, dude? You're messing with me here. That's not good. I'm gonna try a. Ah, shit, there's the 1390 here. I'm gonna go chase him down. Or not, I'm just gonna kill him. They did not, Echo Baby. SP1C was not changed. That's coming with tier 10 light tanks, which should be the patch after this one. But honestly, it's not getting nerfed. It might get changed a little bit here or there, but it's not going to get nerfed in a sense. It's going to play the same and be balanced about the same. It's like tank changes. Like the only drastic change happening to those is the T-49 losing the Top Gun, and that's going to be on the Sheridan prototype at tier 10. Any other light tank, you know, you might see a little change here or there, but it's not going to be anything drastic. Pretty nice little match to the end. Yeah, didn't take any damage so far. No problem, Echo Baby. Yeah, pretty much everything is buffs across the board here. Slight little nerf to the Grille 15, little nerf to the E5, which, you know, isn't as bad as some are making it out to be. Hopefully I'll be able to... The E5, honestly, is a really hard weak spot guide for me to do, because there's probably, unless I simplify it a lot, there's probably like 40 or 50 different, just on the frontal hull, armor points that I need to measure the angles for and basically do you know, calculations as far as its effective armor. And that's just on the frickin' hull. SB1C, I've enjoyed it so far. It's a fun little tank. Come at me, bro. I'll take on both of you guys. With AP. I'll chase you down. Honestly, I almost feel like, I hope they don't do it, because I'll play the T95 a lot. I almost feel like they're gonna frickin', fine, I'll kill your side, and I'll ammo rack you at that. I almost feel like they're gonna nerf the T95 speed a little bit, because I think it would be better suited at like 18 maybe. I do feel like 20's a little high. But honestly, right now it's a pretty damn fun tank. So it's basically the same speed as the mouse is currently on a live server. So, which, hey, I got an ace tanker, awesome. Maybe I'll clip this out though, since that was a pretty fun match there. But nice little way to end the stream. Hello Snoot, nice to see you, and Tim as well. Maybe I won't end the stream on this, since I'll play one more here because that was pretty fun. I'm just gonna clip that out quickly though. But that was a pretty fun match. I'll do one more match in. Yeah, what do I want to play here? Maybe I'll play the PZ7 again, since that's, you know, the newest tier 10. But honestly, like, you know, this is the first test iteration. There was always at least two. You know, things I think that will change: the mouse, either some changes to the armor buffs it's getting, or the gun. Probably the gun might get honed back a little bit as far as its reload speed increase. T95 there might lose a little bit of speed, because honestly it I like it and I think it's a good thing, but it's a little bit too fast in a way at times. It just makes flanking it pretty difficult. And then I almost feel like the Type 4 and 5 Heavies gun, the new ones, might get a little tweak to them too. I feel like they're just a pinch weak. I know the DPM looks, you know, it has 1,000 DPM over the current gun on them, but I almost feel like they're still not the best guns. But I could be wrong there. But this is definitely going to be my last match. But it is nice to see a Snoot though in a live stream here. If only you'd played World of Tanks still. But as far as this tank goes, you know, if you're going to be playing against a lot of these, like I'm going to have to update and make new weak spot guides for the VK. This is essentially VK 7201K. You're looking at mainly shooting these little cheek sections here from the front, and if it angles at all, you know, basically shoot right in this area, kind of like the armpit in a way. But oh, I'm gonna be like seeing numbers everywhere for the past, or the not the past, the next like week or two. Maybe I'll have to enlist Ryan to do a few weak spot guides for me because she loves math. The day I stop smiling, it's probably never gonna happen. Oh, that can be very bad, a bad trait sometimes. You know, sometimes if people are like yelling at me or something, or it's like a serious discussion, I'm sitting there like smiling, and they're like, what are you laughing at me or something? I'm like, no, like, it's just who I am now. Sorry, I'm being a complete dweeb here, and why don't I take one for the team here and make up for doing that? And go like this. I took a shot on my left, but there we go. I will take another shot here from that Strev, but whatever. Killed him. Always point yourself to the right when you round that corner. Even if you don't think anybody's there, because a lot of times, you know, there's some pesky TDs back there that will definitely make you regret not pointing your armor that way. Shit, there's a 183. He can hesh me. I'm just gonna wait a second. E100, be my meat shield. Thank you. I'm gonna steal your kill too. It's a test server, so I don't think anyone cares. He might though, but I need to get across this little gap there. I can try again, John, but yeah, it's probably she won't play until at least spring break, if she ever does want to play again. Yeah, more or less she. I've said it a few times. Oh, that guy just got walloped. You know, right now she's essentially, you know, she's filling in for maternity leave, but she's doing that. So essentially full-time teacher plus doing student teaching her last semester. So that's pretty damn hard. You know, not everybody passes their student teaching. Not that she's in, you know, any threat to not pass, but yeah, she probably works about just for teaching maybe like 70 hours a week right now, if you count in you know, student teaching, the college side of it. But that's life of a teacher. Lots of work, no pay. But you know, she does kind of hang around when I play the game a little bit more than she used to, though, because she does like playing video games. She just never really played a game like this before, honestly. Don't hit my little weak spot, please don't. Or don't shoot me at all. I don't think anybody can hit me on the side, but I might be a little bit too slow here. Whew. Shit, they have 2 Conqueror gun carriers. Oh god. What am I doing here? I'm pushing into a TVP without any arty. Oh lord. Without any arty cover. And a Strev came up behind me. But yeah, anyway, this is going to be my last match of tonight, guys. Since I was just popping on for, you know, a short little test server stream, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to be playing, you know, on the live server on my account from 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be getting some guides out. I'm going to start working on some weak spot guides. you know, for some of the new German heavy tanks coming out, and you know, changing some of the older guides that I need to update now for like the T110E5, the Mouse, you know, Type 4, Type 5 heavies. I'll let her know, John. You know, currently she's she's passed out right now. Um, but yeah, thank you. Thanks for watching, guys. Which hopefully this won't take too long. I was just gonna wait till the end, but it's always a pleasure talking to you guys. Glad I could play some you know, tanks you'd like to see tonight. You know, since I know not everyone pops on the test server, but you know, regardless, maybe I'll see some of you guys tomorrow. Maybe you'll see Ryan tomorrow if she pops in. I don't think she'll play though, but I can ask. All that TVP destroyed us. But you know, so far this patch, I feel like it's, you know, a lot of good changes, but balance wise, a couple little tanks here or there I think is a step in the wrong. I did not, but yeah, but yeah, it's just, you know, usually I stream later on now. Like I stream early because she's at school, but I stream later on now since, you know, she's got to get up at, which I get up too with her at about 5:30. So yay, no sleep. But anyway, thanks again for watching, guys. Nice to see, you know, a few of you. Snoot, Paradex. It's been a while, you know, talking to both of you guys. But nice to see the rest of you too. Hopefully you have a good rest of your night here, or a good start to your day, since I saw someone say it was like 4:30 a.m. there. But yeah, I'll see you guys hopefully next time. Have a good one.